Hello everyone, if you were waiting, sorry for always being over the scheduled time. Today's been a little hectic, uh, so anyway, if you're watching this after the stream is already over, I just wanted to tell you that this is a stream for TinyCDN. It's a software that is used in Flatlanders, which is a content network for creators and groups, as you can see. And what it is it's a new content network, very similar to, probably what you've seen before, except it has some unique features. It's going to have a unique focus and different community. It's going to be very user focused, and it's going to be a lot more like a forum, with customizability being like at the forefront of the design, and user interaction is going to be highly integral to the experience. And so I'm really focusing on making this a unique and really fun and interesting place to be on the internet. Part of my motivation is that I have always been dissatisfied with the communities I've been a part of ever since I, became kind of cynical about the nature of the modern web. I've kind of been more and more looking towards building my own community since the ripe old age of, I don't know, 17 or so. I was thinking about this for a while now, and it's finally come to fruition in the past couple years, I would say. This started as an idea brewed in my mind for quite a while, and now it's finally becoming a reality. I'm really excited. So this is free for now. You're watching 2 weeks after this video has been made. Sorry, but you missed out. You still will be able to sign up, but it's gonna be $5, or you can get invited by someone else. I'm sure someone in the comment section or elsewhere will be able to get you an invite. But if you really want to get in, you'll have to pay $5 for a limited time only, 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks of August 1st, so by August 14th, you'll be able to get a free early access invite. The software is not hosted at the moment, but it's close to being ready. I just need to do a little tiny audit, look at some things, and yeah, it'll be ready pretty soon. So just make sure to sign up for the free early access invite, and you'll be part of an exclusive community that it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be so fun. So I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, hopefully you can be one of the early adopters of Flatlanders, and yeah, so we'll get coding now. I don't have much time. I'm only going to be streaming for about 2 hours. Fortunately, I have something I'm doing shortly. I'm going to be into a show. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be real fun. I'm going to check up, firstly, how many signups I've gotten today. It's always nice to see. Okay, looks like we got around five signups today. That's pretty good. We got really a lot, actually. On the first day, I was so surprised, positively surprised. I was taken aback. Thinking like, wow, that's pretty significant. How many invites I got. Just a reminder: when you join within the first 2 weeks, you'll get 10 invites, and that's a $5 each and $5 price basically each invite. So you'll get invite all your friends. And it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. As long as it stays a positive community, as long as it stays, within the margin of, within a certain level of quality, I think it's gonna be great, because you're gonna have people, like-minded people, sharing ideas, being free to express themselves in a way that hasn't really been replicated since the early days of forums, and I think it's going to bring that energy back. It's going to bring back this quality assurance that was taken for granted when forums were really at their peak. I think I really want to bring back that energy. I want to bring back that those roots of you know um, less provocation, less trolling, less spam, less low quality. I want to bring back this authentic kind of really like enjoyable thing that I had in my childhood that I want to bring back for you know the my generation, and also maybe even the next generation if this lasts. So yeah, so that's my motivation. We'll get back to this. I know exactly what I wanted to do. It's pretty actually significant what I want to do. I thought it would be simpler, but I need to take care of this major revision now, because if I don't, then there's going to be major problems with the stability of the software. What I need to do is I need to, wherever I'm referring to the unique pointers for file buckets, I need to change it to the shared mutex on a unique pointer, and I'll be passing around those mutexes. And yeah, that's what I need to do. Unfortunately, I can't use the atomic shared pointer, which is lock-free. I could write my own pointer, smart pointer. I don't really have the skills necessary to do that. I've never been really kind of one of those people that implements, data. Well, I've never really implemented a pointer class for one in C++ or really any language. And so I don't think it would be a problem. It just would distract or detract from like what I'm trying to accomplish, and using locks isn't really too much of a problem. So I'm just going to use locks as my concurrency, and once the atomic shared pointer comes out, I'll switch over to using that because it's very simple. Okay, so enough babbling. Let's get to it. You guys have any questions? Of course, feel free to ask in the chat. I will do my best to address any concerns. And please, if you haven't already, sign up for free at flatlanders.net. It's free. I literally am just storing the emails so that when the software is ready, I can just send the invites out. And there might be a newsletter that you can unsubscribe to, and that's pretty much it. It's not going to be anything like anything other than that. So. Alright, so I'm going to take a look at what I have to do here. So I'm going to look for wherever we use those bucket pointers in the code base. I'm going to take a look to where I use unique pointer. File bucket. Interesting. Oh. What? Oh, I'm in the build folder. Yeah, that's right. Okay. I'm just gonna open a window here. Okay. Alright, so it's in quite a lot of places that we refer to the unique pointer to file bucket, and as well as file bucket registry, so this is going to be a lot of work. Fortunately, a lot of this happens in places that are just redeclaring their type declaration. So it's not going to be like the hardest thing in the world, it's just going to be kind of tedious. And I know I can do it in a couple of days. It's gonna take, well, the rest of today, and then when I get back on Tuesday, I should be able to finish it then, and then we'll be able to integrate. Alright, so we'll start with the file header. Obviously, we need to, actually, I don't want to do it all at once for the header. I'm going to selectively do it, so I'll apply the mutex. I'll apply the mutex in one area of the code in the header, and then I'll look in the implementation file and try to see like if there's any like logical change I need to make. I'm pretty sure it should be like pretty much a simple copy and paste. Not really a simple copy and paste. I still have to like acquire the lock and stuff, but I think it should be pretty easy. I just need to like evaluate the changes, and then I'll have to adjust the tests accordingly. I might actually, it's probably a better idea if I adjust it like incrementally, and then adjust the test, and then adjust it in a separate place, etc. The problem is that so many areas of the code that are obviously passing on these unique pointers, or the file bucket unique pointer, are interdependent. And so one method relies on another, and hence we might need to just do it all at once and then adjust the test. I think, but I might be approaching it from the wrong angle. I should probably adjust the test and then adjust the code. That's the right way to do it. Yeah, let's take a look at the first test, which is the file test. Not file hosting, but file test here. And this test is creating a new CDN in the persistence layer. This is kind of the meat of TinyCDN, and so here we have this function just adds a bucket, returns an added bucket. I don't think this should change, because as long as we change the method signature on the registry's create function, since we're using auto, that makes it really easy to not have to adjust the types in every single place like that. So all I really need to do is take the registry item converter, and in the persistence layer, just make sure that I'm properly creating a mutex, and then wherever I use the registry item, like so, when I access the registry item contents, for example, I have to use the mutex, or well, acquire the registry item, and so we'll have to lock here. So I think here someone told me the lock I need to use. We're discussing it. I think he suggested or we agreed on, what was it? A lock shared, okay. Right, so lock shared, we have to do that. Lock, I wonder what header that's in, actually. Oh, that's in shared mutex. Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna import, or not import. Haha. This isn't. This is C++. We're going to include the shared mutex header, and we can actually just include this in file, the file header, since the file header will also rely on it. It's not a good practice, generally speaking, at least from what I know, to like include headers or to not include headers and rely on the headers being included from here. But I know that I'm always going to be including shared mutex, and this is on a library, so this is my code base, so I'm not going to include it in the test. I'm just going to use it here. Actually, some method on the shared mutex. That's right. Okay. Mutex. Okay, so when we get the registry item, we're gonna add a field here that we could add a. No, that doesn't make sense. We have to add a field to registry that lets us access the registry item. So we could create a container struct for the registry item, which contains the registry item and also its mutex. But to keep things contiguous in memory, we could just create a separate vector that has all the mutexes in them. The problem is that then we'd have to loop over the that vector when we do that. To prevent that, we could keep that at the same index always. And since we're never removing from that registry without removing the mutex, I think that would work. So I'm gonna actually adjust the header. I wanna see, yeah. I think that works out well. So instead of doing this, I think I'm going to still store the unique pointer, and then we'll have a vector that stores the mutexes, the shared mutexes. And that way, I might actually be able to just wrap it. Yeah, mutexes aren't container types. For some reason I thought that I was just writing it for some reason. So that means that mutex is associated with the unique pointer, but it's not actually holding a value, obviously. And so when we create the mutex, we're not doing anything other than relying on it. So shared mutex, and we're gonna call this registry mutexes. We could. Alright, and then. So how this is gonna work is what we're gonna do is to acquire the registry item, what we're gonna do is we're gonna call the method lock shared. Shared lock is actually used for it. Alright, now, so I'm gonna put that should lock, and there we go. Got a registry mutex here. Actually, wait a minute. We store the mutexes, and then we make the locks in the code. So here, add a shared lock. And then, so to acquire the registry item, we create the shared lock on the shared mutex, and we do that for registry mutexes, and the index that was used to access the registry is also the index that will be used to acquire the registry item. And I think that makes sense, so we'll do that before we actually reference the registry item, of course, and that will make sure so that we acquire that shared lock. Alright. Alright, so there we go. We acquire the shared lock in that manner. Of course, the registry mutexes vector is not populated with any mutexes, so this would fail. Which which is fine, at least for now. Now, how the way it works, or the way that it works, is that whenever we move the registry item, that's when we would get the that's when we would request unique access to that mutex. But since we're just accessing contents, which is a value type, then we don't need to do that. So, and then we create the registry file and use that as the input. Here we do need to actually use the unique lock if we're to think about this properly, because this IF stream here will read the file buckets, registries, registry. So that's when we would do this, because we need the unique lock. Actually, so what we're going to do then is we'll create a unique lock on the standard shared mutex of that registry mutex, and once this goes out of scope, that will expire, just like the handle will. And so that's the way we do it. And then I need to make sure to include the unique mutex header as well. And I'm going to put that above there. So there we go. That's pretty simple. And so the shared mutex provides us with both the ability to acquire that read-write, or that write lock. Actually, okay, so there we have it. Our code won't compile, of course, because of that thing here not being implemented. Well, we don't append the mutex. So also here, when we access the registry, we'd like to acquire a unique lock there as well. And consequently, I think that this lock, this shared lock here, will be in a scope that's inner to this scope. So we just need to, we'll actually go ahead and release that lock early on. I actually forgot to this as a variable, and let's call this RM as short for registry mutex, and then we'll do RM dot unlock, and then we should be good there. And this shared lock shouldn't impede this unique lock, because this unique lock is in a for loop. Actually, that's not good. Oh yes, this is a lock on the registry mutex. We should actually be acquiring a lock on the item itself. This is the registry mutex. Whereas, so here, we want to acquire the shared mutex on the registry itself, and thus that mutex needs to be stored elsewhere. Let's see, so where would we store the mutex on the registry itself? We don't want to actually have a mutex on the entire registry, but only on the elements contained within the registry. The standard upstream here, although this is a struct, we're going to change this to class because no one should have access to meta except the class itself. So we're going to make that private. And all the rest of it we can retain as public, except perhaps file bucket unique ID, which can be made protected. And registry file name as well. Or actually, no, that can be public as well. But I prefer this to be const, but we'll deal with that later. Okay, so now, right, so with finder create, we're going to be returning, rather than returning the, well actually yes, we'll be returning the mutex to a unique pointer file bucket. Instead of returning the file bucket directly, by returning the mutex, we can acquire the lock. So what we'll do is that when we use finder create, we could keep the we could have the synchronization kind of like internal to the process rather than returning it. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, that's right. Okay. So we're not going to return the mutex. Instead, we'll retain this as returning the unique pointer. But essentially, wait a minute. So we'll have a, we might want to have the mutex as a member on the class, to be honest. Because, it's going to be kind of hellish, you know, if we have to do this. Because, I think I'll have, the registry items not store their own mutexes, or something like that. Okay. Alright, so mutex is actually relatively large, it's about 40 bytes. So I mean, I'm gonna keep that as an idea, but I think I'm gonna have the new text on the, well, no, actually, well, the problem is if we return a unique pointer to the registry item, essentially, we need to like move it, unless we always return unique pointer references. Which we technically could, but then anytime we use it, we need to move it, which is kind of tedious. So it might be easier to have it outside of the class, and I think it would actually be probably more efficient. I'm not sure actually. No, because then there's two lookups. That's the only issue. I mean, there's not really a lookup besides, well, because it's like, I mean, Well, anyway, it's not really gonna matter too much. I think the locks, oh, interesting. So yeah, so we're gonna need getters and setters or something. Huh. Alright, yeah, so we were using class. It's probably more likely that we actually want class, or sorry, I'm just reading some ideas on on this. Okay, so let's see. What we could do is we could do a with registry item, which follows a lambda that acts on a registry item, and just locks it. But if we do have it in unique pointers, we cannot have the mutex on the registry item, and so all the accessors need to be on there. So we can't loop through the registry like we do and assume that it'll be good. This is terrible, right? So we're gonna do this as an accessor. First off, let's make the registry itself private, so that way we'll deal with it in accessors. And then we'll create a function here called, actually put it up here, get registry item, and we'll take int index, and we don't want to do this anymore. We want to do get registry item, and essentially when we move it, we could, instead of get registry item, we could say with registry, but that adds unnecessary scope. Well, let's see. So, because we can't do that because we can't always pass in lambda because we have to CFify and so on. Yeah, we do need a getter. Then, let's see. We're actually going to make this templated. Let's make that templated so that type name lock type, and we'll do that. So lock type lock on the registry items that we find there. Ah. Yeah, so I think these are shared corner. These registry items themselves. Oh, wait a minute, I can't. Well. Okay, I know what to do now. This is better, way better than what I would have done. So C++ 11 supports forwarding one constructor to another. So I can grab the new text before any copying or moving takes place. And so essentially in registry item, what I then would do is I would implement a copy constructor, which gets implicitly deleted normally. So deleting that, we would do this. Can't do that directly on the. Let's see.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
How many signups? Also, hey. So we are at. We're at 42. And that's, I think there's a few duplicates. Actually, it's 45, but wow, I got a spam email. Wow, that's very, very nice. DomainCenternet.com is claiming that my domain name needs to be renewed for the low price of $93. And if I don't do so within 3 days, my domain will be taken away from me. Wow. Wow. That's very interesting that I got spam this early on, you know? Makes me actually kind of worried. Obviously that's not true, right? I bought a domain for a year. It's obviously a scam. I find that very interesting. In terms of like when it'll be up, I thought about it, and I think I want to. My goal is to have it privately available to certain individuals next Friday. So next Friday, I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be linking it to everybody that is more technical you know. And then that weekend, I'm streaming next weekend. I won't be here this weekend. I won't be here tomorrow through Tuesday. Tuesday I'm taking a flight to San Francisco. I got some business. And then I will be back. And then I'm just gonna work my ass off as much as I have last week. But I'm taking kind of a break this weekend. Got a trip planned, and then I really need to figure out this lock thing with the TinyCDN stuff. Unfortunately, it's kind of last minute, because if I don't get it, then well, all my code's gonna break very easily. I could make the whole thing single threaded and not worry about it, but I mean, it's not really that easy actually, because it's an asynchronous event loop. What happens if I get the job? Well, I need a job. It's not even just an option. I'm actually, there's two jobs potentially, but essentially I'm not going to be working on this full time anymore. When that happens, I'll still stream, but it'll be, you know, after work or whatnot, and then on weekends as well, as much as I can, essentially. I mean, I'm not worried, because I'll still have like 2 weeks, a 2-week period moving up to that, right? You know, so I'll be streaming then, obviously, and yeah. So there's that, and what basically that means is I'll have more funds to actually like fund marketing and all that sort of stuff. Maybe even hire a developer if I get enough money. We'll see. That's kind of I'm not sure about that yet. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. So registry item, we're gonna put that back to unique pointer, and then just re-implement the move constructor, copy the constructor. I'm interested to see what happens if I'm kind of curious, because if I copy this right here, we can make a reader for that, but I don't know if well, that's protected, right? So actually, I read it's actually, you shouldn't be using protected really at all. So I'm gonna keep that as private. So we copy all the private. The meta stream, that's the one thing that's also an issue. So we don't copy that. Instead, damn, I'm not really sure actually. How do we handle the meta? Upstream, because if we run an operation that needs that, right? Let's see. Yeah, I mean, like, I really, like, I don't want to get a job. I'm fine with what I'm doing, but the problem is that obviously, obviously Flatlanders is not making money yet. Like, the only way that I would say, like, hey, everybody, that I would make this my full-time job is if the 40 people that signed up were paying me $100. That's, you know, that's $4,500. That's a large amount of money. Obviously, that's not gonna happen. Even convincing those people to pay $5 is unlikely, you know. So that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna be my full-time job, at least for a while. I've been kind of like running off funds that you know, I took a huge risk basically, and I can't do that for much longer. Oh, okay. That's a big problem. Oh, wait, what? I mean, I know you guys were hyped because I was doing this paradigm shift where, like, I was working full time on this. I don't think anyone expected that I would do that forever, right? You guys didn't think that it would be. I mean, right? I mean, I would if, like, all of a sudden I got 10,000 users, and at least 100 of them were paying $10 a month. That'd be. Even that would be barely enough, really. That being said, I think the idea is unique enough to where even if the development time is slow, that that there's still going to be like users, there's still going to be like traction. Yeah, I don't know if we want to copy the registry. We definitely want to use we want to use some mutex on the registry itself, not the registry's contents. So we don't want to make it copyable, because when we're reading from the registry, well, we want to be able to read from the registry. That's the thing. Darn it. So the problem is this find or create needs to do that. So in find or create, we're going to do this here. Do this, we find or create here. What we need to do is actually acquire a lock. Unique lock. that will lock the mutex here. Then create the bucket and return the future. Actually, we want to. Yeah, so. So we actually would like to do that in the finder create function itself. So let's do that. We don't know if we need to create it, but when we do create it, we do a sort. And otherwise we return create. So that's when we will do this lock. That process will create the bucket, and it will do so in registry items. Since there's the unique lock, it won't have a problem. So get registry item. I don't really like getters and setters. I think that generally it's kind of annoying. But because all the sensitive things that need to be written can be within here. If we need to get the registry, let's see. So I don't have mutex here. Then yeah, so we do shared lock. Okay. Yeah, okay, no, now I realize that this is all good. Registry file name, we'll also make that private. Right, okay. So this saves like a lot of work here. The fact that we implement the move or the copy constructor to automatically create the shared lock for us means that anytime that we copy the registry, we can actually, so we can refer to the registry, I think at least, we can refer to the registry as a unique pointer, but that unique pointer will have copy semantics, I think. Alright, so we also kind of, want, this struct here. This really isn't a struct, it has methods and stuff. Let's see, so I want to make this make more sense. Okay. Yeah, this code base is fairly small, so there's not much going on here that we really need to change. As long as we, so in get registry as well, we want to make sure that we get a unique lock on there, because if we're getting the registry for a write, so I'm actually really lucky that I implemented that because that's important. So in get registry, for the, actually both of the functions need to get a unique lock on the contents, and, or actually the input here. Well, so the registry file, that's the input stream, where we get line and so on. So we don't want to return, well, we should return the lock, I suppose. So actually that lock will be destructed at the end of this function call. So we don't need to really worry about it, because it'll be destructed. We want to do the same thing here. We need to make sure, of course, now that we construct the lock, I have to actually leave here shortly. Alright, I actually have to go. So, sorry. Sorry. I'm gonna go. I need to basically get ready and all that stuff. So, yeah, thanks for watching. I know this was a short one. I didn't want it to be that short. But that's what happened. I know, yeah, I'm looking at your message. Already enabled. Oh, you got Colmac, nice. Just up when you yes. I am gonna be working really hard. Luckily, so it depends on which one I get. I don't know if I'll get it or not. Probably, I'll get one of them. But if I luckily one of them is kind of more like business oriented. I think it's less like programming, but it's probably still gonna be programming, obviously. But it really just depends. Like I think it'll be possible for me to still work on Flatlanders for like on a daily basis, essentially. And then, I mean, it's gonna be. I hope I can do at least 10 hours a week minimum on Flatlanders, in general, and that's minimum, of course. So that'll be not much, but it's enough if I spend the time correctly. And of course, I'll be streaming all that. And if there's something urgent, of course, then I'll fix something that's urgent and so on. But you know, it's kind of unfortunate in a way. It's still like a few weeks away, you know, so I'll have enough time to really like stabilize the foundation. And then, like I said, next Friday, that's kind of when I want to do the limited release, where I'll send it over to some of my more technical buddies. And once they take a look at it and you know the kinks are ironed out, then I'll send the invites to everybody that was emailed. And so hopefully by the end of that next weekend, I'll be streaming that weekend as well. Hopefully by the end of that weekend, we'll have it ready for that week, and we'll get some feedback on the initial release. And by the end of that week, I should have a lot of stuff fixed that users are complaining about, possibly, or just have more and more issues fixed that aren't necessarily essential. But my plan is to have most of the essential um, broke, most of the broken stuff fixed by the end of next week, and that will be That'll be a lot of work. But you know, considering how much progress I did last week, I think I'll be able to manage it. Maybe I'll have another sleepless night. Who knows? Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I'll be back Tuesday. Possibly do a Monday stream. I'm not entirely sure yet. I'm just super busy these coming few days. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Peace.